What is good, YouTube? Boys2 here with a video on the future of the Sony Marvel universe. Now, I wouldn't normally cover a story like this, but I feel like a lot of people are clutching at straws to make out it's something that it's probably not going to be. So Sony has just released information on an Untitled Marvel movie coming out in 2021, which is pretty darn interesting. 2021 is going to be an incredible year for the comic book movie world in a way. So if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe to never miss any new pop culture, Marvel, DC based news. At the 100,000 subscriber mark, I will be giving away a beautiful Bro Xbox One, Xbox Switch. All you got to do is comment down below and let me know, and when we get there, we'll give that away. So this year alone, we've got Morbius coming out with Jared Leto, aka the ex-Joker. And we also have Venom 2 coming out in October of this year that is just recently wrapped production. We did a video on the alleged plot leak, which reveals the orphanage and reveals, I guess you could say, the motivation behind everything that's going to be happening in Venom 2. So this story is very interesting, not because of what people are saying, that it's going to be Spider-Woman, it's going to be Kraven the Hunter. You know, people trying to, I guess you say, carry their own narrative with no information. Just because an insider says, 2 months ago, I heard they are developing a Spider-Woman movie, so it's likely that one is set for next year, maybe, and then there's websites running this like it's confirmation. There's literally 10 movies this could be, so it is interesting seeing as this is going to come out after Spider-Man 3, which will negate the solo movie part of Tom Holland's contract, and then he's still got the team-up movie part of his contract left, which is quite interesting. So the press release didn't really say an awful lot. It just said they're releasing a movie. The studio has dated an untitled Sony/Marvel movie for the 8th of October 2021. There's no way to know what it could be. No? But an uneducated guess would be Sinister 6. They're setting up the real-life action variation of the Into the Spidey-Verse. Well, it would be really hard to get Tom Holland and Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, as Andrew Garfield is pretty much not done anything in the comic book movie world since then. So this is a really hard one to judge, but for sure there is definitely a new movie slated, and Sony are definitely taking advantage of using Spider-Man in their marketing, seeing as recently we reported it pretty early on our Instagram account at Boys2 that there was a "Where is Spider-Man" logo on a bus in Venom 2, and it actually turns out that is from Morbius, which is still the same concurrent universe. But what is interesting is the Daily Bugle logo is actually from the Sammy Raimi Spider-Man 2 and not the MCU version. So some people seem to think that it's going to be Tobey Maguire's variation of Spider-Man that is going to be in the Morbius world, which literally makes no sense because we're still in the current day. So also in the news, there is a bit of a plot leak that kind of basically says that Spider-Man's not really going to be used in the movie at all. There's one line where it says, on the way, he passes a Spider-Man poster tagged murderer. And unlike in the trailer, the picture used resembles the Homecoming suit instead of the Raimi suit. So they are going to be using Spider-Man in Morbius and Venom 2 in some capacity, because why wouldn't they? So the movie coming out from Sony next year could be anything. Now, no one knows what it's going to be, although I've seen a bunch of insiders making out it's this, making out it's that, but saying you heard that it was that, we heard so much before, you know, the new Spider-Man movie, Spider-Man 3, was revealed that it's really just hearsay. I mean, there's been that ludicrous story that there's going to be a solo Kraven the Hunter movie. I mean, that really doesn't make any sense. If Kraven the Hunter is the villain for Spider-Man 3, why would they chuck him in a solo movie after Spider-Man 3? And I'm sure they're probably going to have to try and pull Spider-Man into this movie somehow. If it's a Sony Marvel movie, which means obviously if it's got the sharing arrangement of the previous deal, This could even be the team-up movie because it says Sony stroke Marvel. But most people tend to think that Tom Holland's team-up movie with Marvel would have to be in the sense of Secret Invasion or Avengers 5 or something like that. But Sony tends to like to release a new Spider-Man movie every 2 years. So that will be coming out in 2023 as Spider-Man 4 if they can renegotiate deals. So it could be literally anything. It could be Spider-Woman. It could be Gwen Stacy. It could be Maximum Carnage. It could be War Stew. I don't really think it's going to be Maximum Carnage because that literally makes no sense in the grand scheme of things. Why would they release Maximum Carnage so soon? Because obviously they're going to know how well Carnage is perceived way, way, way before they start production on this. Because obviously Venom 2 comes out later this year. But it could be the Sinister Six. It could be anything. We don't know what it could be. It doesn't even say it's live action. It could be Venom and Carnage. It could be literally anything. But the narrative that I see people talking about on the Twitter is it's going to be Kraven the Hunter. And it's going to set up the Sinister Six, which makes absolutely no sense because they've got footage to do that from deleted scenes from the post-credit scene from Spider-Man Far From Home, which was, narratively speaking, going to make a lot of sense. And in order to set up Sinister Six, they're going to have to set up a lot of different things. So it is interesting. It's an interesting, I mean, it could be Jessica Drew, because as you know, they potentially could make Silver and Black. They could literally make anything. But the sharing arrangement is a bit iffy with Jessica Drew. She technically could appear in Sony and Marvel movies in a way. So I'm really interested to find out what you guys think down below. But just because some little insider says that it's going to be Spider-Woman, it realistically means nothing, guys. Because what you got to understand about it is track record is track record. All we know is that there's an unsolicited, untitled Spider-Man based movie. You gotta like has a prerequisite that it's gonna have something to do with Spider-Man. It could be a live-action version of Into the Spidey-Verse with Tom Holland, with Andrew Garfield, and with Tom Holland, which, realistically speaking, no. It's most likely not going to be that, because do you realize how hard it would be? It could be Madam Web. It could be literally anything. It could be a complete new movie, because we're in 2020. If it's not coming out till, but then it's coming out next year, October next year, which tells us 2021 October, which tells us whatever they're trying to do, they've already got plans. They've already got everything lined up, because in order to get it out for next Christmas, well, October, so to speak, they will have to start shooting it close to the end of this year at latest. Take Black Adam, for example. That's starting shooting this summer. It's coming out next Christmas. So they are going to have to start shooting it in the next couple of months, but then saying that they can shoot a movie in 3 months, because people are still confused how they shot Venom 2 so fast. So they are going to have to like cast people and get everything and get the production team and everything rolling, but secretly all this could have been happening already. So most likely it'll be some massive crossover, maybe the Sinister Six, maybe Maximum Carnage, maybe Madam Web, maybe Kraven the Hunter. But I don't like to get behind these ideas because there's nothing up, there's no logic, there's no evidence, there's literally nothing behind it. But maybe a live-action movie could come out. I mean, Tom Holland would literally drop anything to play Spider-Man again in any other given universe. So we don't know what it's going to be. But this is more of a discussion than a theory or kind of revealed official information. But I guess it's not breaking news. But I know people will say breaking news. No, it's not breaking news, but if you like, I guess you could spin that narrative. So is it going to be Spider-Man Into the Spidey-Verse live action? Probably not. I mean, that's probably what I'm going to go with in the thumbnail, but that could happen, because I do like fan art that has the 3 different Spider-Mans there, but it could literally be Miles Morales. They could just be making a Miles Morales spin-off. I mean, that wouldn't be too much of a stretch. He is popular. He was in the Spider-Man PS4 game. It could literally be anything. So like always, guys, let me know your comments down below. I really am interested in what you guys have to say. So like always, guys, please like, subscribe, and comment. I'll catch you in another video very soon. I'll catch you later. But first, guys, could you please follow me on Twitter at WarStew, Instagram at WarStew, and also the Facebook page at WarStew. And if you ever got any stories or topics you want me to cover, just send me a message on one of them. I am trying to cover a lot more subjects rather than just Marvel and the DC Universe now, like Kong versus Godzilla and a bunch of other things like that. We're doing a bunch of more DC stuff because I don't really think there's that much material for Marvel content at the moment. So we are pushing other variables. We are pushing other stuff. We've done a bunch of Power stuff. Power's ended now, but there is Power Book 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's going to be interesting to see what we can cover and what comes up in the world of pop culture. As we know, Spider-Man PS5 is coming shortly, and the new Batman Arkham game is coming also. So there is a lot coming shortly, but they've been secretive because the schedules for this movie, if it is going to come out next year in October, it's going to have to be so tight. Like I said, it's February now. Next October, it's not that far away. But saying that, Venom's finished shooting in February and it's coming out in November, so they could start shooting in the latter half of this year, say October, November, and they could easily still crank it out. But to say it's a Kraven the Hunter movie is a freaking lazy move. That it's not going to be Kraven the Hunter. Maybe it is. Maybe they've got Jason Momoa on side, or Joe Manganiello. I don't know how you say his name. The dude that's going to play Deathstroke in the DCEU, but he got cut short by I guess you say Sweden, by Warner Bros. Essentially. But it could be anything. It could literally be anything. Like always, yeah, I'm not going to say. I was going to say it could be Blade, but that would be strictly under MCU. But it could be anything. Like always, guys, please like, subscribe, and comment. I'll get you in another video very soon. Catch you later.